We are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday Halloween. Our guest with us this morning is Davidson County Sheriff Daron Hall. Good to have you on.
Happy to be.
I don't know if you saw this. Well, I think since you last were on, there was, and again, this can happen anywhere. I'm not asking you to be critical of anyone, but there was an escape at the Rutherford County Jail. I don't know if you recall, there was a situation where there was an inmate on one of the upper floors, or a couple of inmates. They kind of, I think, somehow got out of the cell and attacked a female. This was on the night shift guard, and were able then to make it out. And in retrospect, the two of them were caught. No one was seriously injured, even though I think that inmate was roughed up. But one of the correctional officers in Central, or whatever that is, the ones that control the electronic buttons and to open, was reprimanded after the fact and put on paid leave because these guys got out because they were up here, but they had to get through all these doors. And she literally, because of the call, started hitting the buttons, is the way I understand it, opening the doors down to where these two guys literally just walked out a back loading dock and disappeared. They didn't jump any razor wire or anything like that. They literally walked out, and my thinking is maybe she was fearful, and folks were trying to rush to the aid of the officer who was being attacked, and so she was opening the doors. Well, that just opened the way for these guys to walk out, and the protocol of it, and you know, I think the sheriff does a good job there. I'm sure he was looking at what happened. He held this person responsible, but something like that. And I'm just wondering, I mean, was it a panic? Was it, you know, that these guys literally were able to walk out through several locked doors because she kept opening? And my understanding too is these guys knew enough to punch the button, you know, to ask for it to be open. And she may have thought, for all we know, if she couldn't see him on video, that it was the guard punching the button. Right. So she opens them, and they walk right out of back loading dock. Boop. No, easy as pie. Easy as pie. What do you think?
Yeah, you know, and I don't know all the details, so let me.
Right, again, and this happens sometimes. And again, no one was hurt. They've been caught, and they're looking into how it happened and addressing it with this officer who did not lose her job, but was reprimanded. And I understand people make mistakes, so it just is a mistake. These things happen. Policy wasn't followed. What is the policy if someone's being attacked and they need help up there, but you know inmates are loose? Yeah, what do you do?
You cannot let the door open to let an inmate out. Regardless, this has been a conversation for many years, and you're sitting around. I can remember having this conversation. You know how hard it would be to sit there and not open the door, and it's one of those. You know, it's the same thing as in the streets. You have someone with a gun to someone's head. If you don't give me your, you know, your keys and your house and your car and your wife and your kids, I'm going to kill this person. And the truth is, you're not supposed to give them everything. I mean, the fact is, you can't do that. But how hard it would be to be sitting there and having to make a choice over whether, if I hit this button, that person's going to get out. If I don't, they're going to harm him more. And so but the rule of policy is that you can't do that. You can't authorize or allow someone to go. I don't know whether she knew or could see them. Most systems like that have cameras and buzzers, so that you never. I would not want a buzzer system that didn't let me know who I was letting in, unless there's a radio system.
You think you imagine maybe someone could panic in that situation? I think she meant well and was worried about this officer being attacked, but it backfired. That's just my take. Because if she was involved in any other way, or really, I think she would have lost her job. But I think she meant well and was very concerned about the safety of this officer, and just didn't follow policy, which I guess would have been something more structured to get up there.
You can't let them out. You're calling for backup, and you're waiting on someone to come respond, but you can't let them go.
Yeah, meaning that if you have to open the doors, you know someone, maybe armed guards, are waiting. So if those guys are there, hey guys, we're here. If you don't do it until you're sure people are in place.
Yeah, and again, I'm going on what you're telling me. I read the story. I was happy to see, I mean, again, that the sheriff's office held someone accountable if they were wrong. It's a terrible situation. You know, a lot of times I tell people this, a lot of times when there's an escape, there is a relationship that's formed between an officer or an employee and an inmate that goes too far. There's a trust element that develops, and they shouldn't, and all that. That doesn't sound like what happened here at all. It sounds like a mistake, because I believe the sheriff's office would have gotten rid of the officer if it was intentional. But you know, I'll tell you a good thing to think about. Reminds me of this. Years and years ago, over here, a good friend of mine was working in what we call transportation. He was moving several inmates to and from court. The old Sally port, the old garage doors hardly ever worked, so they were up. So basically, you could just walk out if you were free. Well, in this case, there was 3 inmates on a what we would call a chain, but then three inmates, and one of them had jimmied the lock, and so as soon as they got between the building and the van, the one inmate broke loose and took off running. Now you're the officer.
Yeah.
What do?
Go after him.
What are you going to do with the two that?
I guess I would radio it. Right.
Well, but you would probably do what you said.
Okay.
Which is what instinctively we think.
I guess,
there he goes.
That's why I say there's the instinct, and I understand. I guess that's what I'm not trained. Maybe training kicks in, but
it is
your impulse is like, wait.
Because I can't just let him go, and there's all that going on, and you got these two and that one, and all. So it's but we've commented, and again, back in those days, we didn't have very good training either. This was a long time ago, but it's a reminder of, you have this responsibility to take care of. You see someone getting hurt, but letting that door go may harm everybody in the community and more. You can't do that. You got to get response. It's just a lot happening. That's
why there's got to be training, and it's impulse, and we are all human, and sometimes you just want to help someone. Listen, we'll take a quick break on that note, and we come back. More of your phone calls right after this.